Hello, my beauties. This is Leah Love from Leah Love Online. Thank you so much for being here in this group. I feel so good. I feel like so excited about the energy of the women that's coming into this group that I've had personal opportunities to discuss with, who I've had interactions with in various other groups, as well as on my personal page. And I'm really, really excited about the light and positive and expected energy in this group as this group is just forming. And so I want to give a really huge and large warm welcome to all the new members thus far. Many more are coming in. And so I wanted to just do a brief live because we've all been somewhat experiencing some of the same experiences, same engagements, and same interactions with the people in our life, whether they be on land or online. And one of the things that I was somewhat cocooned in while I was going through the Enchantress program, while I was really focusing on dating and really going after my goals, which was dating with purpose. I was somewhat cocooned because I had already set the framework for the environment that I wanted. And I'm going to explain that in a little bit, but this video is going to be about understanding the environment in which you are operating as a woman who is dating with a purpose. And your environment is so incredibly important to your success because we're all susceptible to subliminal messages, to the comments of family and friends, to the insights or input or judgments of those in our circle, whether they be coworkers, whether they be family members, whether they be best friends. We are all susceptible to solicited and unsolicited advice and just general input from people who seem to feel that, their opinion matters in regards to your dating. And that's not to say that, you have to live a life where you don't care what anybody says or thinks, and that you discard every little piece of advice that you get. That's not at all what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you can much more easily decipher and determine whether or not you're going to accept information, advice, and guidance that you get from others when you have a full understanding of the environment in which you are operating. And when I say environment, I am saying what I mean by that is the people that you keep closest to you, the people that you seek advice from, and also the people that are close to you that you don't seek advice from. So what do I mean by environment? By environment, I mean cultural, I mean social, and political. So within certain demographics, within certain communities, and within certain groups, there is an overarching feeling and dynamic as it relates to dating, family, and marriage. So if you are in a certain demographic that typically does not have a high marriage rate, if you are in a certain demographic that does not value marriage, if you are in a certain demographic or area that rarely celebrates marriage and does not celebrate long-standing relationships, family ties, there's a lot of dysfunction going on, you can pretty much be sure that those who are steeped in that environment do not necessarily support a positive outlook on marriage, family, and the entire dynamics of maintaining a marriage. And so when you of thinking about that and thinking about the terms in terms of what's going on in your life, you have to ask yourself, are my family members, my cousins, my sisters, my brothers, my parents, my aunts and uncle, are they supportive of positive, healthy marriage? Do they have a marriage culture in our background, in our family? Do we all have a marriage culture? Or has there been a lot of drama and dysfunction and a general dislike of family, a general dislike of men if they are women, and a general dislike and mistrust of women if they're men? And if your answer is yes, there's dysfunction, yes, there is a lack of a marriage culture that has been working for a few generations, then you can pretty much bet that you are operating in an environment that does not value marriage, that speaks more to divorce and breakups and various aspects of abuse and drama and trauma in relationships. You then have to look at your friends. Do they come from a marriage culture with, parents that were married for some time and that are still together 30, 40 years? Or do they come from, a family that the parents were together for some time, but then they broke up, but that both parents have acknowledged their shortcomings in the marriage and the reasons why in which the marriage fell apart? And so they have been sharing that with the children in hopes that the children will make better choices and follow through with better decisions in their future relationships. So that's a question to ask. You look at your friends and you look at the family that I talked about before. How do they generally speak about relationships? Are they involved in a lot of drama in relationships themselves? Are they traumatized? Are they over it? Are they negative about relationships and love? Are they negative about marriage? Look at your coworkers. Are these people happily married or married, but still have a lot of negative things to say about marriage? Or have they never been married? So these are all the key components of your closest relationships that you really want to step back and take a look at. The reason why I went to such length and detail in discussing your environment, because people's words matter, people's feelings matter, and you need to be able to be in a space where you can focus as much attention as possible on positive aspects of relationships and marriage. You want to be in a mental and emotional space where as you are dating, your mind is not being colored by these ideas. Well, all men cheat. All men are dangerous. All men are scammers. All men suck. Because if you keep getting this information, all of these statements that are keep being pummeled into your mindset, that will affect your thinking. And your thinking affects your actions. And then your actions affect your emotions because you have a cause and effect. And then your emotions affect your thinking. And then your thinking affects your actions. And it's an ongoing cycle. So the point is, if you are truly happy and excited about your dating life, it is absolutely critical that you take this very seriously. I like to consider it, when I was still dating, I like to consider it as my secondary full-time job. It is something that I took very seriously. It's not something that I would do on the side, that I would, just here and there dabble in it and approach it from a very haphazard point of view or way of thinking. I actually really, really took my time to manage my energy, manage my inner circle, to have a sounding board with people who were actually supporting marriage and supporting positive relationships. So my thing is that if you are saying that you are dating with a purpose, if you are saying that you want to take this very, very seriously, and you're dating with the goal of becoming a fabulous wife, you can't constantly endure negative input, negative commentary about marriage. The first thing that most people want to tell you about is how all men cheat. The first thing that they want to tell you about is the divorce rate. The first thing that they want to tell you about is any and everything that does not work with marriage and why you're wasting their time. Why? Because they are talking about their life situations and the things that happen to them. And I can guarantee you, because that is not the dominant culture, at least for those of us here in America, for many of our demographics, we do not have people who are supportive of marriage. We do not have a culture and family life environment that supports marriage. And so most people are only speaking from their own experiences. And most people are having a great deal of experiences because they do not come from a marriage culture. They do not come from a situation that teaches women how to be successful in their wife role and men how to be successful in their men's role, their husband's role. And so when you have two people that did not grow up with a family that was intact and healthy for the most part, did not come from a marriage culture, and you throw them into a marriage, most of them didn't have pre-marriage counseling, and it's just kind of winging it as you go. Well, of course, there's going to be strife and difficulties and an inability to really work through things because no one's teaching this anymore. Not even most churches are teaching this anymore. And so when things fall apart, the first thing they're going to say is that marriage in itself is an illusion. Marriage in itself is a false set of expectations. But really, if you go to a job to be an engineer, but you've never actually gone to school for engineering, you've never learned engineering, and then you go and your job is stressful, it's horrendously difficult to manage, you don't want to go back to it, you hate getting up in the morning and going to the job, and then you end up eventually being fired. Well, you can't go back later and say, oh, well, the whole engineering field is horrible. They treat you terribly if you ever, want to become an engineer and go into an engineering position. They're going to treat you horribly. The job conditions are terrible, and it's all horrible. So that's very much like those who walk into marriage without any training, without any history of seeing people successfully navigate marriage. I'm not saying it's a fairy tale and that it's every day is perfect, but there has to be a track record of seeing people, having that evidence in front of you that shows you that it's something that is worthwhile working out and really enjoying and making sure that it's something that is established that lasts. And so again, your environment is important, not only through your dating, but also into your wedding and marriage time. So you will see that I will be continuously talking about this isn't just for one time and one time only, and then you throw all of the teachings away. This is actually a lifestyle shift. And that's really important for me to share with you, that you're dating with a purpose because you want marriage, you want to be fulfilled in marriage. It's a lifestyle change that has to happen before you get married, not after the wedding date, after the honeymoon, and now you're scrambling to try to figure out, okay, what am I doing here? You want to start thinking about these things from now. And with law of attraction, with many of the techniques that I used during my dating time, I literally finally dawned on me that I had to actually live and mentally and emotionally have myself in a state and frame of mind that I was already a happily married domestic goddess wife. And then I was emitting that energy. I was living in it. I was flowing in it. I was practicing it because I didn't want it to be something that was completely foreign to me. And I understood that when we think about aura and energy and attraction, a man who is looking for a domestic goddess, he wants to sense that in you when he's meeting you, when he's meeting you for dates, when he's interacting with you on the phone, when he's following up after the dates. He wants to see, are you that material? Just like you want to see, is he a provider? Is he stable? Is he caring? Is he loving? Is he from a marriage culture? Is he, enjoying his involvement in courting you? Does he understand the importance of courting? So not only are you vetting him, he's vetting you, and you are vetting him, and back and forth, back and forth. So you want to already be in that state. So we could have several conversations, like I said, so much in this little short period of time. And I definitely want to share more with you. And there will be upcoming courses that will really break it down and go into the nitty gritty. because this is, again, a lifestyle change. It's a mindset shift, and it has to start from you making very clear decisions. It has to start with you making very clear lines in the sand in regards to what's most important to you. Is it hanging out with single friends who are not marriage minded, who've had horrible relationships, who don't want to hear anything about positive dating, positive courtship, and positive love? Or are you going to gravitate towards the people who are happy and excited about relationships and courtship and marriage, and or established couples who have proven that they've been able to withstand the test of time in their marriages and who feel positively about marriage? So you got to ask yourself, what is it that you're really doing in terms of the environment that you are choosing to exist in, and choosing to tolerate in terms of the things that you can control. You may not be able to control the environment in your workspace and your coworkers, but you can definitely share with them that this is where I'm going and I don't really appreciate your input. That's you and your life, but I'm doing something separate, and I would appreciate if you keep your thoughts to yourself, because that is of no consequence to me. It's not going to help me, and I'm not really looking to you for advice. And I wish you all the best, and no hard feelings, but I really actually don't want to hear this. So you got to be very, very firm, because if you allow people to continuously poison your emotional and mental environment, that will affect the outcomes of your ability to maintain a high level of energy and a high level of positive energy. So I hope this helped in you being able to kind of take a look at and reflect on the environment in which you are existing, and reflect on the people that you're keeping in your environment, and thinking about, are they really for or against what I'm trying to do? And then understanding the importance of keeping an environment that actually supports what you're trying to do, and what that looks like, and who those type of people are. So again, I hope this helped. This is Leah Love of Leah Love Online, and look forward to the courses coming out. I am in the pre-sale right now, and I will be posting the course offerings in this group. There will be several master classes. There will be my assisting you in your dating profile, your bio, and your photo selection, as well as a free ebook. So it's a lot in there that will just simply be a really wonderful boot camp and a fresh start into your dating with purpose life, because you got to start out with a mindset that helps you as much as possible, because it's supposed to be something fun. But for most people, dating online is something that is very trying, very draining, and very difficult, because you always think, oh, could this be the one? Could this be the one? And you end up wasting a lot of time and energy that absolutely does not have to be that way. So I'm here for you. I'm excited, and let's get going, y'all. All right, take care.